imagine for a good blaster at your side.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This episode, we're going to talk about the Rise of Skywalker because it comes out in less than 2 weeks, and The Mandalorian and other things. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Welcome to episode 106.
Yay. Last episode before the big day, the big game.
The big game.
Before
We're coming up on the big game in less than 2 weeks.
The balls couldn't be happier. The field is cut and short.
The field is rife with gophers. I don't know what game are we playing? I don't
know. The big one.
The big one? Okay.
I don't watch a lot of sports, so.
No, most of them have fields.
Yes.
The end.
Though confusingly, some of them have courts.
Why not fields, basketball?
Yes, why not? Who makes that decision? Court versus field.
Every other sport is playing with balls on a field.
When you're inventing a sport, is that the first step? Court versus field? Which ball shape should I pick? You got the round ones, and you got the small round ones, and then you got
the misshapen ones.
The oblong stepped-on round ones. Do you want a stepped-on ball, or do you want a big ball?
Depends on how much bounce you want.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of bounce, a lot of bounce.
Do you want the bounce to go sideways or straight?
So when you're pitching a sport, you have to. First question you have to ask: how much
Even
bounce?
More confusingly, pitching is part of a sport.
Oh gosh. So pitching a sport is a sport in and of itself. The sport.
That's true.
Of sport creation.
Wow. It's what a wonderful world we live in.
Speaking of wonderful, The Rise of Skywalker comes out in less than 2 weeks.
Oh, segues.
Less than 2 weeks.
I can't believe it. My brain isn't allowing me to process that information. It's too soon. We've been wanting this day to come now, closer, faster, and now it's too soon. It needs to stop and go away.
Sure. It just not happen? Cancel it.
It's too soon.
Cancel the end. We're done.
I'm not ready for it. You're not ready for it either.
No.
Is anyone really ready for this?
No, not really. The movie, it's that catch-22 of it's the last one.
Yeah.
And I don't want that anymore. I do and I don't. I want and I diswant.
All
Is
right.
that a word?
So, what's his name? Richard E. Grant posted on Twitter.
That bastard.
Recently.
That bastard.
Apparently they showed episode 9 to the cast.
Yeah. They had a screening.
As of recording, yesterday?
It was on, I think it was the night of the 3rd.
Okay.
December 3rd.
He posted this. We have to watch it. I think we retweeted it.
Yeah.
But it's him extremely emotional. Just
so excited.
He looks wiped out. He
looks emotionally wiped out.
And physically. But yeah, emotionally wiped out, talking about how this movie is not it's not what you expect it's going to be. It's I forget what the words he was using. It's,
basically that
fulfilling.
It's fulfilling. It's everything you want. It's everything you didn't know you wanted.
Right.
That whole
he was
situation.
He was jumping up and yelling in the middle of the movie and pumping his fist in a good way.
Abrams shaking his fist at him,
pumping his fist and just like rejoicing while watching the movie.
Yeah, of all the things I didn't expect to get prior to the movie coming out was Richard E. Grant, of all people, being like overwhelmingly excited about how good the movie was.
Right. And that was emotional just to watch.
Yeah.
Just that, his reaction to it.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it and all I could think of was, no, I'm not ready for this.
No.
Yeah,
it's a different feeling than Last Jedi coming out.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not the end. I mean, you want to find out more of the story and whatever, and I want to know what happens in this, but at the same time, once this happens,
that's it.
It has happened.
Yeah.
Star Wars, the Skywalker saga will have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And will have finished.
Yep.
Which will have been 30 years of my life.
Right.
30 plus years, more than 30 years of my life.
Almost all of it.
My entire life has Star Wars has been there my entire life because I wasn't around for 77. But yeah, and I can't imagine the people that have been around since and saw the original films in theaters, right?
Yeah.
If they're
Yeah.
not the people that are screaming online about how shitty it is that women are using lightsabers. But just the fact that this saga and these characters and everything that has always been a staple and been building is going to end. And I mean, in one aspect, no, we've still got books and the Resistance TV show. I guess it's got a second season.
Yeah,
There's only going to be season 2.
Yeah, and Lucasfilm has already confirmed that the 2022 trilogy is still happening,
whatever that is.
and
yeah.
they have a director for it. They haven't revealed who it is yet, but we'll still have
There's
other media.
stuff, but everything.
But this one story, we've had this one story our whole lives.
Right. And as much as it feels like this story is going to end, I mean, we're still going to have books. Like it's like another Padme book was just announced.
Well, sure.
So there's still going to be stuff filling in, I think, spaces.
But
I wonder how long that will continue.
But I mean, we'll have a beginning and an end of this story. You know, we'll have the arc, and yeah, there'll be things to fill in the middle, little details. But
that's something I've been wondering too. How many questions do you think they will leave us with questions? How definitive
questions
do you think this will be?
Well, we've heard several people say that it
wraps up
it wraps everything up.
It wraps up more than you
prequels.
expected it to wrap up. Like
Yeah,
it answers the questions you've had.
Like exactly, you can watch this and then you can go back to the prequels and the original trilogy, and it answers questions raised in back then.
Yeah. I don't. But do you think they will? I mean, they have to leave some stuff open to interpretation. That's just part of being able to milk it, right? Like wouldn't you think?
Yeah. Well, I don't know though. Everything we've heard so far is that this is the end. This answers everything. You know. I don't know. I don't really see them leaving a lot of questions. Maybe I don't know.
It's because so right, we were talking about this the other day, how it's so extremely frustrating thinking about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are 5 billion different directions it could go.
Right.
Everything is there are so many variables. It is so wide open.
Mm-hmm.
With really, because of the fact that they're bringing Palpatine back in,
mm-hmm.
it could go anywhere. And the fact that they're going to supposedly be wrapping up all these storylines from decades of film.
Yeah.
There's any number of ways they could go with any of it. So
and the rumors right now
they're all over the place too.
They're all over the place. They're they're contradicting each other. They're
1 week a rumor is certain that one thing's happening, and the next week they're like reneging on it and going in a completely different direction with it.
You got rumors out there that are contradicting each other, rumors that are going back and forth, waffling between ideas, and it's just it's hard telling where this is going to go. And
it's because part of it that's hard for me is because I guess I haven't thought about it more until recently. If this is wrapping up the Skywalker saga, this is also wrapping up the prophecy, right?
Yeah.
Like the prophecy, and even George Lucas in interviews has said that Anakin was the chosen one.
Yeah.
He was definitely the chosen one,
mm-hmm.
and in his own way brought balance to the Force.
Yeah.
But I guess he definitely kind of hasn't too. So wouldn't this film also have to wrap up that prophecy?
Well, the way I look at it is, I think we've talked about this before. The way I look at it is Anakin brought balance to the Force because the Jedi had kind of tipped the scales so much to the light side through their actions that whatever means were necessary, whether Palpatine actually did create life and created Anakin, or the Force spontaneously created Anakin. I'm not sure which way it goes there. But Anakin was recreated. His destiny brought balance to the Force ultimately. And then I don't know, maybe Palpatine's death Or, I don't know. Was
That-
the Force in balance after all of that?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Was the prophecy fulfilled? And that it
Yes, I think it was.
and that no longer matters. Is this cyclical,
I think it's cyclical. Yeah.
or does this film
Well,
definitively finish that?
I got sidetracked. So the Force at the end of that storyline, the Force was in balance, and Luke
Right.
went off and did his thing and started training the next generation of Force users.
Mm-hmm.
Then Snoke happened, the way I see it, and that bringing Snoke, influencing Ben, pulling him to the dark side, pulling him away from Luke, that
Mm-hmm.
unbalanced the Force, created an imbalance, and the Force created Rey through whatever means were necessary. Rey is Ben's equal. Rey is the thing that brings the Force back into balance.
Sure. So is it cyclical, or does this film end the cycle?
How can it end the cycle?
Exactly. That's something I've been thinking about recently too. Is will this, as much as the Force is part of Star Wars, the prophecy has been a part of the saga.
Do you think?
Can the problem of the Force and its balance be resolved in this film? Will they try to, or will it just be resolved within this storyline?
Do you think if this is a cycle, well, okay, if it is a cycle and it doesn't end, do you think it would repeat the same thing that happened last time where the wayward son is redeemed at the end through, a connection? So in the original cycle, that was Vader and his son.
Right.
Vader is redeemed by destroying destroying Palpatine. At the end of this cycle, the Force connection is Rey and Ben. Ben's redeemed and destroys Palpatine, but dies in the process. And Rey goes on.
There's been rumors that he definitely dies.
And that brings balance to the Force again. But, does it set up? I don't know if out of that, you could say the cycle is going to repeat again. You could say the cycle ends there.
Right. I mean, so one of the of all the insane rumors that are out there, one of the rumors is Palpatine does kill Ben.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
And then Rey defeats Palpatine.
Yeah.
But at that point, there's no balance, right?
Why?
Because then there's just light.
I see Rey as balanced in the Force the way that Luke was.
I guess so. Conflicted, but good.
Yeah. There is dark, because
that old conversation of basically knowing how to manage your emotions, but still being able to have them.
Right.
Unlike the Jedi allowed.
Right.
Yeah, possible. And at that point, the Force is satisfied. And this movie could end with a satisfying conclusion to the entire Force issue that has been there the entire time. And now we no longer have to question that.
Right.
And that, more so than finishing the Star Wars saga.
But I think The Last Jedi set that up.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It explained a lot about that side of that argument.
Yes.
Powerful dark, powerful light. It's a balance. Things. So one has to exist
me,
for the other to exist.
That is more of an I don't know how I'm, as much as I like these new characters, and unfortunately the only person we have left in the film from the original movies is Leia. I guess we have Lando and Chewie and stuff, right? But as much as the storylines of the characters and things like that being wrapped up, that overarching issue of the Force being wrapped up is going to be very difficult to handle, I think. At least for me, just like the thought of that's done.
What do you mean? What's done?
The Force, it's in balance. Like that story is complete. To me, that seems more emotional than Rey and Kylo's story.
But you could also say that at the end of Return of the Jedi, that the Force is in balance and that story's complete. But then something else upsets that balance.
I guess.
That's what I'm saying. At the end of this, you could technically the cycle could be ended,
so
but that doesn't mean a new cycle won't start.
but the thought process here is obviously in the 80s with Return of the Jedi.
You're saying finally in balance, like ultimately
Right,
in
'cause
balance,
this is
and
the end of
never
the
to be
saga.
never
Right.
never to be upset again.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, back to the 80s and Return of the Jedi, you didn't know bullshit about the Force like you do now, right?
sure.
Like there was none of that.
We're retconning a lot of that.
The
Yeah.
prequels brought all that in.
Yeah.
The prequels made that a main plot point and
Balance
a main
of the Force.
storyline. Yeah. And so
I mean, Yoda hinted at it a little bit in Empire.
Yeah. But I guess it wasn't as big of a deal, and there wasn't the prophecy at that point.
There wasn't a lot of lore, behind it. Sure.
But now, as we've had that, and that's been like the overarching theme now that was retconned in, and has been
Sort
a
of,
big part of most of the media that's come out
Yeah.
regarding the Skywalker trilogy, and this is or the Skywalker saga, and this is ending the Skywalker saga. If that is fully, cleanly wrapped up, and the prophecy and the Force is in balance in a finalized way,
Yeah.
that to me is more emotionally difficult to think about
It is.
than in Palpatine coming back.
If it's what you're saying, yeah. Because there are more effects to that.
Yeah, like there's going to be this feeling of holy shit, it's finished.
If a darkness like Palpatine is introduced, things are going to rise up to confront it and ultimately fix that problem. But something like this, there's more of a I don't know, like an effect. I can't think of the word I'm trying to use here, but
I mean, it ends everything that's
there's a bigger impact to
because
this.
everything. I mean, even
there's no more conflict.
There's no more Force conflict.
Yeah.
Conflict based off the Force. There's conflict within the universe, like stuff that's happening in The Mandalorian, right? There's stuff like that, but the overarching theme of most Star Wars things has been light and dark. If there is no more light and dark, then what is Star Wars?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they would do that.
I wonder how cleanly that will be wrapped up.
You're asking the question whether or not we'll get a definitive, clear answer as to whether the Force is permanently in balance or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
If that happens,
I would say you'd be stupid to do that.
It closes a lot of doors.
Yeah.
For the future, right?
Right.
But one, if that happens, the emotional aftermath that I know I will have in feeling how final that is.
Yeah.
And just that feeling of it's finished. What
now?
What do I do? It's like the kind of thing where you're just like staring at the sky and walking to the street and get hit by a car and you die because you don't know what you're doing with your life anymore.
Like the end of The Mist.
Right. Yeah, at the end of The Mist. That's yeah. Don't ride with me that night. I've got an emergency backup plan.
Oh.
No, yeah, there's so much opportunity for literally anything to happen.
Yeah, that's what's frustrating.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
Right.
Because and I wonder if because
all we have is what we want to happen right now.
all the leaks have been coming from quote sources, but the leaks have also been all over the place. Yeah. And I really do wonder if Disney, Lucasfilm, or Bad Robot or something has been
generating false leaks.
Has been running interference.
I don't know.
To try to throw people off.
I don't know.
Because it is so all over the place, even more so than Last Jedi.
But I think with a production this big and with the stakes this high, you're gonna have people who are gonna try to get.
I mean, John Boyega left a script in a room, and someone tried to sell it for $80. Like, which what an idiot! Not him, the person trying to sell it for $80.
I assume Disney bought that script back, right?
Yeah, you know what happened, right?
No.
So John Boyega was moving.
Well, no, I know the story, but I don't know what happened after it got put on eBay.
Someone that worked for Disney saw it and bought it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did they get a promotion?
I wonder. So someone that worked for Disney saw it and bought it and told the company about it
Wow.
and got it back to them.
Did he read it first? Did they read it? Whoever it
I'm
was.
sure as soon as they told them, they were like, they had to track down everything and all that. But
Clean up,
and
do
the person,
mind wipes on
the
everybody.
person that tried to sell it was putting it on eBay for like $60.
Yeah.
What a massive idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Things like that, there's going to be genuine screw ups. There's going to be people who leak real information. So I'm sure some of the leaks have real valid stuff behind them, but the number of leaks, the number of different rumors, the conflicts of all the different topics and
Stuff
what the
that was
rumors
months
say are
ago,
going to
Stuff
happen.
that was like definitely going to
ridiculous.
happen. Stuff with Kylo and the Oracle and stuff like that have now supposedly been cut from the film, and like there's all like that's the rumors that were giant and running for a long time months ago.
Well, sure, that's
are
the
now
other,
that's totally cut out of the movie now and not even a part of it. And
that's the other thing is these rumors have been going around for a while now, while the movie's still in production and while
Right.
things are still being written and rewritten
but now
cut
it's done. So
Yeah.
it's like any more rumors that come out, how valid are they now?
Yeah.
Which is now is the time I'm trying to stay away from looking at stuff.
Yeah.
Because
You could
especially
end up
like once you started having premieres and having screenings, I remember with Last Jedi, a lot of stuff that definitely happened came out around that time.
Did we get any leaked footage around this time?
We didn't get any leaked footage.
I mean, we're 2 weeks out.
We're 2 weeks out.
I'm surprised there haven't been more things like that.
But at the same time, Disney's putting out a freaking new TV spot every day with more footage.
Little bits.
It's like the other day we had a TV spot with the dagger, like just a straight up shot of the dagger.
Yeah.
Which I did not expect to get.
Yeah.
With its weird bone tusk thing on the bottom, and it was it looks weird, but
you know what it looks like? It looks like 2/3 of the super laser on the Death Star.
Kind of, yeah.
That round piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I never expected to get just a shot of the dagger.
Wait, was that like an artifact in the image? Maybe I was looking at the image wrong. Was it a dagger with a long rounded edge piece?
But it didn't connect. It just like came out like
right
3/4 of the way. Yeah.
Well then, I stand by what I said.
Yeah. I never expected just to straight up see that in a trailer or on in anything before the movie.
Like a close up like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a main shot of it. So like they're pumping out stuff it seems like every day there's a new TV spot with like 1 or 2 new shots in it.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like even those you feel like you almost want to stay away from because you're seeing so much now.
Right.
It's like we were talking right before we started recording the podcast. Apparently, since they started running ads on TV, since they started running ads for The Rise of Skywalker, they've spent about $15 million. In the last week alone, from the 25th of November to the what was it, the 4th or 2nd of December or something like that, it was like $6 million in ads. Jeez. With like 313 million impressions.
Wow.
And 617 different slots.
Wow.
Which is, they're just throwing it just in our face constantly.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to watch all of it, but at some point I feel like I need to stop so that I can try to be surprised by things I see. But I don't know if I can do that.
I don't know. 2 weeks. That's not a lot of time to wait.
No, it's not. Oh, no. Why is Palpatine in it?
Why?
This is just like where I turn into my son, where it's just like, but why? Why can't I? Why? I don't understand. Why?
But Daddy, why do you have to work? Son, I asked the same question.
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. Why is Palpatine in the film? I don't know.
Yeah,
He obviously has to be, but why? Why is he there? How is he there? When is he there? Who is he there?
These are all valid. Who is he? Oh, wait.
I mean, there's been rumors about the fact that something that I brought up as like one of my theories a long time ago is that Snoke was a clone of some sort from Palpatine. Not necessarily even a Palpatine clone. there's been rumors too that Palpatine was trying to create Plagueis too for some reason.
Recreate him? Like raise
clone-
him from the dead?
Clone him, yeah. Bring him back in some
Yeah.
capacity. But that doesn't seem valid to me because he killed him. He murdered Plagueis.
That's the implication.
Well,
We
I
never
mean-
really got that confirmed.
yeah, but that's the whole Sith thing is you have to destroy your.
But I mean that he was Plagueis' apprentice.
Oh yeah.
There was a heavy implication.
Has it ever
a
been
heavy
hard
hint.
confirmed in the canon that he was?
I don't think so. Not as far as I
You
know.
should tell us more about the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. That's what we really need.
Have you heard of the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Not enough. Not nearly enough, to be honest. Please expound on that. I mean, yeah. What if they bring up Plagueis in this? I mean, there's just so much. I mean,
Yeah.
not if. I'm about to say if Palpatine came back. Palpatine came back, and that was what Plagueis was trying to do.
Well, the whole story he told.
Yeah,
It's-
that was
if
the point.
Palpatine does come back,
That's what Plagueis was trying to do. So he figured out what Plagueis was trying to figure
the
out.
story is that his apprentice learned all of those powers that Plagueis knew.
And if they're
which
wrapping
were,
up stories, they have to wrap up. I guess they have to mention Plagueis in some capacity.
I don't know though. Do they? Do they have to?
Yes, definitely.
I guess we'll see, but I'm sure if Palpatine is resurrected, I mean, they have to explain why, first of all, but if they do explain why, it's got to tie back to that power, right?
Yeah, I mean
It's got to tie back to
him figuring out
how
what
Plagueis,
was trying
found out how
do.
to use the dark side of the Force to
They
create
have to tell us how he
life
came back. I mean, they can't just throw him in there and be like,
and to prevent people
He's
from
here.
dying.
right. So he prevented himself from dying somehow.
But how? Yeah, how?
Right. Why is Palpatine? How and why are Palpatine here? Nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't make sense of that because there's nothing that would tell me those answers until I see the film.
How do you
And that's
resurrect
frustrating.
yourself in the Force?
And not be a Force ghost.
Yeah.
Like Palpatine was trying to bring people back from the dead.
You know, that is interesting to consider. The way the Jedi kind of exist in the Force after dying is to be one with the Force, to accept death and move on, basically. So it does seem natural that the dark side of the Force's version of that would be to
Hold on.
spit in the face of death.
You're right.
Yeah, and bend and twist the Force to your will and bring yourself back
Deny the
to
Force.
enact your will.
Deny the Force.
Its natural
Reclaiming them.
Yeah. Deny the Force its natural flow. It does kind of make sense.
But how is there a physical Palpatine? Like he had
He had to have burned up.
he
or
had to
something.
have died.
What, do you think he just healed himself? You think that's part of the resurrection process?
I don't know.
Is
It's so
healing the body?
don't
I mean,
know.
how fucked up is he gonna be? Physically, you know? Is he gonna have a giant hole in his butt?
There had to You don't have that?
Huh?
No? Oh, nothing.
A what? A hole in your butt? No, that would be gross. Poop would come out.
How would you sit?
Your poop would come out.
You gotta keep that in there.
That's not supposed to come out.
That's part of
That's
you.
supposed to stay inside. Why would you want a hole in your butt?
What a waste of food.
I eat it so it stays inside me. Why would I want it to come out? What's the point of eating?
Oh gosh. I mean, I really do think cloning is going to be a part of this. I really do.
Oh, it just seems so
don't,
corny.
I don't see a
though.
way around
It
that.
just seems so corny.
I don't see a way around Palpatine existing without there being clones.
What's better, a resurrection through the dark side of the Force or a clone? I mean, you can't say a clone is better than.
What body did he have, though? I mean, it just doesn't
Well,
make
okay,
sense.
that's the one question.
Oh, you gotta have a body to be here. Yeah, I mean,
don't
it's
know.
just it doesn't. I don't. He had backup plans. He always had backup.
I think cloning is
plans.
only on the table because of the EU.
And that's highly possible.
And I guess the whole Attack of the Clones thing.
But
That doesn't have to be related, though.
he always had a plan. He had Operation Cinder. He had all these things.
Yeah.
But he wanted Operation Cinder to be kicked off so that no one could have anything, basically. Basically, if I can't have it, you can't have it. That was the whole point of Operation Cinder.
Do you think it's connecting?
If he planned to come back, if he had a plan to come back already, why would Operation Cinder have been a thing?
Well, okay, I was going to say, do you think it's connecting? Do you think the dots are, if these dots should not be connected, do you think what's going on in The Mandalorian right now, or the hint, the thing that's being implied there, is connected to this? Is this part of Operation Cinder? Let's distract by burning the universe, while in the aftermath, my people go out and collect midichlorians from powerful force beings, so I can be resurrected.
Suck up midichlorians from old babies.
I think that's grasping at straws, but it's fun to think about.
It's possible. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Operation Cinder, if he had planned already to come back, and he always had plans, like Operation Cinder was that post-mortem plan that these Sentinels kicked off.
Yeah, create chaos in the galaxy, basically.
Would he have had a plan in place to return? Why would he have wanted things to be destroyed with Cinder? To weaken the universe so that he could come back?
Yeah, to weaken the galaxy, to create chaos, to separate everybody. Because I think if the Imperials did just surrender without doing that, the New Republic would have been a lot stronger and have had a lot better foothold.
And he
all created fear in his death, which separated all these systems and made them more reliant on the First Order when the First Order finally came around.
And he had all these locations spread around that had the copies of his ship and Sith artifacts and calculating the path outside of the known galaxy into the unknown regions.
Yeah.
That's almost where I'm like, he may have had clones
at those locations,
either at the locations or
he's got a Jason Bourne Go box with his
his body,
a new body, and passports, and
did he have some kind of did he have something prepared to have a clone ready for the possibility that he would be able to succeed where Plagueis didn't?
In what way? Because I think succeeding where Plagueis didn't would be just be alive.
Just not die.
Right.
But how do you not die?
Because Plagueis got killed.
How do you not die in a supernova of explosion?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Other than denying
another body somewhere?
your soul from the Force and re-inhabiting a body.
Another body.
And if you could, why would you pick the same one you had when you're him?
I guess that's the question. With the dark side resurrection, does it have to be in the original body, or can it be in any body? Does it have to be a soulless body? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Is a clone a soulless body?
Now we're just getting into ethics.
This is what we want out of this movie, is a really deep ethics conversation.
We want a cloning ethics answer.
Honestly, I would love to see that, to see it touch that topic.
The ethics
in
of
this
cloning.
movie. Yeah.
We get that.
What if the clone doesn't want Palpatine inside of it?
And if he, yeah, that's the thing, right? If it is a clone, why does it still look so bad?
Well, he still sounds bad, at least.
Why not be better?
Well, that's the other thing too. Well,
like if it wasn't just a resurrection, why not be more just anything else? More than a flat bag.
A chair.
Like, I don't know. Why not be a more powerful, person? I don't know, have any muscle or bones.
So clone yourself into Arnold Schwarzenegger, not
Papa Bod.
Yeah, okay. I get it.
I mean, right? If you're gonna come back and try to contend with the galaxy, why not be able to stand up?
Can you imagine how funny that would be if it was like Terminators?
Just shows up butt naked in a like sphere of the Force and give me your clothes.
And he's just like,
Give me your clothes.
he's an Austrian bodybuilder.
Yeah, he walks on some, speeder bike
There's
gang.
just a Palpatine factory somewhere creating new 80s bodybuilder Palpatines.
That's why I made that picture with Palpatine's head
Yeah, I
on
know.
Schwarzenegger's body.
I know. Oh, it's just such a funny thought to me.
Yeah, he shows up in a hero's pose, butt naked. And then he finds some swoop rider with his, leather outfit on. Give me your clothes. And then he takes them and he rides off on his swoop.
But that's the thing, is he keeps failing and dying. So they keep having to make more.
Yeah, right.
There's been like a bunch of Palpatines. This is the only one that's made it this far.
I mean, that was one theory I had, is that Snoke was a failed Palpatine in some way. But I mean, we've been told that he's some other.
Yeah, he's a
being.
humanoid. He's not a human. Palpatine was a human.
Why did he look so shitty? What happened to him?
Snoke. Yeah.
That's an answer we still need too.
Right. Yeah.
And I wonder how much of that we'll get too. But they've said they're going to answer stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder how much they'll fill in on Snoke being a part of Palpatine's plan.
Yeah,
I really do think he was part of Palpatine's plan, whether he knew it or not.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he was Palpatine, or a clone of Palpatine, but I think he was factored in somehow,
Yeah.
Whether he was in league with Palpatine or not, that remains to be seen.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the one thing that you want to see, is the Palpatine answer? I don't really
answer
care.
in how he came back, or what he's done, or what his. I mean,
well, so okay, the two things that
you can't bring him back without showing us the orchestration that he set up to have brought him back.
No, yeah, that's all part of it. I'm saying the two things that I really care about in this movie are what we've already talked about. This question about the balance of the Force and what happens now, and this question about Palpatine and his plan and how he's orchestrated all this. I don't know if I really care about anything else.
I mean, we have the story of Rey and Kylo, and that's what some people care about. I understand their story, if that makes sense, right? Like, I understand.
Yeah,
Rey's
that there are
story.
not many questions left to be answered besides things like her parentage, which aren't that important to me.
Ben will either be redeemed or he'll be killed, I think.
Yeah.
Like, those are the options.
I think both.
He'll be redeemed. And
I think he'll
killed.
sacrifice himself. Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, we get that, right? Rey is Rey. She's not going to die. She's going to
survive.
She's going to.
Yeah. She's going to survive.
She's going to finish.
Like
She's going to finish this.
Right.
So to me, it's like there's not many ways their story can go. I don't think. And they do have some sort of force. They do have a force connection.
Yeah. Whether it was created by Snoke or not, I guess that remains to be seen. I think it's because of, like I was saying, because of the way the Force was balanced because of them. Or, the Force necessitated that connection.
Right.
They've been naturally connected.
Right.
I think. And as the Force awakened in Rey, that began that connection. That's kind of started it.
Right.
And Snoke may have just made them aware of it.
So to me, like, there's natural progression to how their stories are going to end.
I think so. Yeah.
But the Palpatine thing is like,
yeah, he's the wild card.
I expect to have that oh shit moment where they're going to show us how he's orchestrated everything.
Yeah.
That's been this decades long plan that has worked in his favor, that he's been pulling strings behind the scenes that no one expected it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going to have that moment where it's going to be like, no. Like, we know, like, obviously, but it's always that sinister, like, holy shit, he really did it. Like,
Mhm.
he really did all this. And it'll tell us, it'll give us at least a good bit of info as to how.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. That's what I want.
Mhm.
That's the thing I'm really looking forward to, is finding out how all of this came down because of Palpatine. Like, what his crazy ass plan was that came to fruition,
Yeah.
just like Operation Cinder with the Sentinels, and how all of that is so insane that he orchestrated all that.
Mhm.
And when you think about it and see it, it's like, holy shit, this guy is nuts.
Yeah, he's insane.
He's mad with power.
Unless that's just a piece of the larger puzzle, like, because if you just look at that by itself, yeah, it looks like just an insane thing to do, but I think it fits into this bigger puzzle that we're not really seeing.
Yeah, it's like he had this plan of, burn everything down because I couldn't have it. But now
That's what it looks like by
it's going to be
itself.
like, burn everything down so that this can happen.
Exactly.
And then we're going to find out this whole other string of events that kicked off that we didn't know about.
Right.
And that's going to be that crazy, like, eye-opening moment of, like, what? All of everything with the First Order and Snoke and Luke and Ben, and, like, everything was orchestrated and the strings were pulled by Palpatine with no one knowing it was him.
Right.
Like, I expect to get that moment, that to be the big surprise, not that Kylo and Rey get married. Like, that's not the big surprise I'm looking for, right?
Right.
Or, Kylo takes his shirt off and he looks like a fridge.
Oh, my son today, before bedtime, he pulled his pants up to his chest. He looked exactly like Kylo. It was so funny.
Son, you're built like a fridge.
Yeah. I said, remember in Last Jedi where Kylo Ren looked like that? And he was like, huh? Never mind. These are things I think about.
It's all I think about. Good night, son.
Close the door slowly.
Yeah, I mean, it's all that stuff that's like, there's natural progression to those stories, but there's this overarching story that is going to fill out so many things that I don't think we expected it to. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
I mean, not to mention, like JJ has said recently that, he's talking about how you can't just have the same things people have always seen. There's adding in, new aspects of the Force and, ways that go beyond what we've seen. So, like, showing new either aspects of the Force or powers or uses of the Force, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, just talking about how he gets, you get criticized if you don't change anything, you get criticized if you change too much, but, like, you have to do what's good for the story and not just what people want or don't want.
Right. That's what happened in Last Jedi with the Force projection thing. A lot of people criticize that. And I guess the whole Mary Poppins, Space Mary.
Spacey Poppins?
Yeah. What did they call it? Leia Poppins?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's interesting that new Force powers are going to be shown. I wonder what that's going to be.
I mean, there's other storylines. Like, we already know that Poe, some of his backstory is tied to what's her face, the new character in the suit.
Zori Bliss.
Yeah, Zori. Like, his some of his backstory is tied to Zori.
Mm-hmm.
We've been told that Finn's backstory is brought into this as well, which I guess there's been hints or rumors at the fact that
I think Jana's going to be his sister.
Jana is his sister.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah, I mean, so
from everything that I've seen
I think
so
we're
far.
gonna get some. We're gonna get some wrap up to story we didn't expect to even be a story.
Yeah.
In the film.
Yeah, I should probably talk into the microphone.
I mean, and even recently, there was a featurette showing, like, footage of all the films, and there was a shot of Warwick Davis dressed
yes,
in the Wicket costume, in an older Wicket costume.
I was just about to say, let's talk about Endor, this whole Endor thing.
So there was a shot of current day Warwick Davis in a new Wicket costume that has whiter fur. It's not the old Wicket costume.
Right.
So this is Wicket in the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, this is modern day.
Why
Wicket.
is Wicket in the Rise of Skywalker?
Or at least a flashback? But I don't know why they would flash back to Wicket, or why Wicket would be in a flashback. Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about the whole. Let's talk about the whole Endor thing. So the planet that the Death Star 2 wreckage is on is called Kef Bir, We've talked about that before, right?
Yes, the planet
It's
that
an
stars on is
oceanic-
Kefbir.
It's an oceanic moon, they've said,
Right.
so far in the Endor system. I think
We assume that.
that hasn't been confirmed.
I don't believe so.
I thought it was mentioned somewhere. You can look that up real quick.
Yeah,
But-
it up.
Yeah, so this planet Kefbir, we had assumed it was Endor originally, and then it came out. It's Kefbir. It's an oceanic moon. You and I were talking about how could the wreckage get from above the forest planet that we have always called Endor to this different planet. We assume it had to have been in the same system. Something came out, I can't remember where this originated from, but something came out recently that was saying the forest moon that the Death Star was orbiting was not Endor.
Well, yeah,
It was in the Endor system.
So it's the Endor system. And they always referred
and this was
to
the
it
forest moon of
for the
Endor?
most part, they referred to it as the forest moon of Endor.
I always thought,
But the way they say that is the forest moon of Endor. Like it's Endor, the forest moon. But supposedly
but I could have
Endor,
sworn people called it Endor directly in the movie,
the
right?
Endor system, though.
No
maybe
one
they
had
were
ever
referring
called
to
it
that.
Endor.
Supposedly Endor, the actual planet of Endor, is a gas giant.
Well, yeah, so that was the thing that it was in the data bank or something, wasn't it? Is that where
Right.
we saw it?
Yep.
Which I can't. Yeah, here it is.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple ways
So,
to
I mean, even here,
even in the
in
official
the data bank,
yeah.
Endor, secluded in a remote corner of the galaxy, the forest moon of Endor, blah, 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 the lush forest home of the Ewok species, blah, 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 terrain, grasslands, mountains. That Endor is the planet that we saw. So what is this stuff about Endor being a gas giant? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so if you look at like Wikipedia, so it says Endor was a small forested moon orbiting the gas giant planet of Endor.
I don't.
So it's like the forest moon is also, it's just referred to as Endor. Like I guess it doesn't have a name, maybe. But the gas giant of it is also known as Endor. It's the Battle of Endor, which is in the system, right?
Right.
Um,
It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't. Either Wikipedia is going to have to be updated because this is going to be changed, or
so one of the thoughts is that there's a forest moon of Endor, and there's also an ocean moon of Endor, which is what Kefbir is.
okay, yeah, I understand that, but my problem is the movies refer to the forest moon as Endor.
In the system of Endor, and
According
Endor
to
is
the
also
data
a
bank,
larger planet.
according to the data bank, and I'm pretty sure according to what some people say actually in Return of the Jedi. And the fact that it's
Yeah.
called the Battle of Endor. Forget Wikipedia or whatever this new stuff about Kefbir is coming out. It's I don't know, it's confusing. So there's that question.
Right.
The whole star map question. And then there's also this question of how did the wreckage migrate from the orbit around the forest moon, whatever we call it, to Kefbir, this oceanic moon that's supposedly in the same system. Or at least we would assume it would be in the same system.
I would assume, but yeah, then at that point, why is Wicket?
Yeah, and why is Wicket involved? Do they go to the forest moon to try to track down the wreckage? Is Wicket
Yeah.
on Kefbir?
That wouldn't make sense.
I don't know.
The Wickets.
Is
The
Kefbir
Ewoks
like a-
could not have made space travel at this point. There's no way.
Is Kefbir like a Camino where like the entire planet is an ocean? I don't think so, right? Because Rey and everybody were walking on some kind of land,
Yeah,
some kind of
there's
beach
land
up
too.
to
Unless there's
an ocean.
unless there's ocean, unless Kefbir is the actual name of the moon of the forest moon of Endor. Maybe that's the actual name of the planet now.
That seems like unnecessarily confusing. And there just happens to be a giant ocean that the Death Star crashed into.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's all
I mean,
gray.
stuff I read is like the name Endor was also sometimes used for the forest moon. The planet itself was less well known than the moon. So it's like the
Yeah,
forest
that's-
moon is referred to as Endor, but there is a main planet called Endor as well.
Yeah, see, that's just all very. How I want to know how that happened.
Yeah.
A smaller question, but
Yeah, like there's so far the forest moon of Endor has never been given an actual name other than being called Endor, and as well as the fact that there is actually a gas giant called Endor as well. That is the main planet of the system. Well, I guess it's kind of the same thing like Yavin. Yavin's the name
Yavin
of the
4.
planet. Yavin's the name of the planet and the moon.
Well, it's Yavin 4 was the name of the moon.
Sure, but we're dealing with Ewoks here. They probably don't even have numbers.
So it's Endor and Endor.
Yeah. Endor.
Every planet is named Endor to them.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. That would make sense. Oh, you're gonna want to go to Endor.
When you get to Endor, take a right, and then you're gonna see Endor.
But then don't go to Endor. Go to Endor.
Now, when you get to that treehouse, you're gonna go to the end door on Endor,
Endor.
and then you're gonna go indoors.
And Endor. Endor. A story.
Yeah, I mean, I want to write a paragraph that uses as many versions of
the sound
the
Endor.
phonetical sound of Endor as I can.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
Endor, the Endors of Endor.
Oh no.
Okay.
So yeah, so I guess that makes sense, kind of in relation to Yavin. At least one was called Yavin 4, but they're both referred to as Endor. But so the thought is that
But then
Kefbir
Kefbir.
is a ocean moon of Endor, or some sort of, because I mean it's referred to even in the main entries. It's referred to as an ocean moon.
That's the assumption if the wreckage is there and it migrated from over the orbit of Endor in the Endor system to this planet or this moon, whatever.
So it
Yeah.
seems very if Janna is Finn's sister, it's very convenient that she would also be on the planet of where the Death Star is.
I think she knows where the wreckage is. And
That's
she
not where she starts.
And takes them there. That's
possible.
That's my thought. Because she's a is she a resistance fighter or is she just loyal to the
They're
resistance?
separate, yeah. I mean, well, no, it's saying Kefbir is home to Janna.
Oh. Was that in that dictionary leak?
Home to a freedom fighter named Janna,
Freedom fighter.
played by Naomi Aki.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's got to be in the Endor system, I would think.
Very
Maybe.
interesting.
I don't know.
You think she works with Wicket?
Why would he be on? Why would he be there?
Yeah. I don't
How?
know. I don't know.
How would he have gotten off of his planet on a log?
Well, how did the Jawas get from Tatooine to this other?
They at least steal ship parts and probably could have built one.
Yeah, I guess they could build a ship.
What are the Ewoks going to do? Swing a log around fast enough to launch somebody into space and hope it has enough inertia to get there?
Yeah, they're just sitting on top of it.
It's
three of them sitting on top of the log.
It is Splash Mountain log.
That's their space program.
It is a Splash Mountain log where there's just seats in a log. It is a canoe.
That's their space program.
It is a giant. It is a redwood canoe, basically.
They're just swinging around a tree as fast as they can. And shoot it off.
Yeah.
That's like the guy riding a bomb and how I learned not to blah blah whatever. What's that movie? What is that movie?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Wow.
Doctor
Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, you're going to be them sitting on top of a giant log.
How I learned to stop worrying and love the atomic bomb. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it's just going to be an Ewok on a log. They swing around fast enough that it shoots into space.
And they're just yeehaw on the top of it.
Yep. Shaking spears, and then
they either flesh
freeze
melts off.
They either freeze, flesh melts off, or they make it somewhere somehow.
I like the idea that Ewoks are sending other Ewoks far enough up that they can't see them anymore, and they just assume they succeeded.
Yeah, and they have a party. I mean, they don't have telescopes. They can't see. They don't know. Success. They went.
Their telescopes are logs.
They didn't. It's just an empty stick. They didn't
It's
crash.
a flute, basically.
Right. They didn't crash. They didn't blow up.
Right.
They're fine.
They made it.
Why not?
According to them, there's a whole space colony of Ewoks somewhere. But really, there's just a pile of Ewoks like 100 miles out.
There's a ring around the indoor moon now of just Ewok bodies. After they
made it into orbit. Okay.
Their whole space organization has just all been failed missions, but they don't know that.
Logs and a bunch of Ewoks.
Yeah.
There's rings around Endor now.
I want to see the Ewoks NASA.
Yeah. What does that look like? A control room.
It's just old Empire parts from the old station and logs shaped like rockets and.
But it's not like they would have the analog of control panels and stuff. No, they don't need control panels because
they just pull a lever and a slingshot a log into the sky.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like this is the best idea we've had yet.
Ewok NASA.
That's the name of the episode.
Ewok NASA.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh man.
Okay. What else do we have to talk about? There's been so much lately.
I mean, we haven't even touched on The Mandalorian and how fantastically good it is.
Yeah, that's true. It's good, and it's still going.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as much has been answered as I would have had, as I kind of expected it would at this point. It's been like every other episode has hard story, and the off episodes have had more character building.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like 1 and 3 had like straight up story about the child, and 2 and 4 had story about the Mandalorian.
It's not like every episode ends with something that advances the main story. That doesn't necessarily happen each episode.
Yeah, it's like the odd episodes have been about the child, and the even episodes have been about the Mandalorian. Almost, in a way.
Yeah, the first episode was about the Mandalorian.
Yeah, both.
I guess finding the child.
Episode 2 was just character stuff with the Mandalorian and getting his ship back, and then episode 3 was him getting the child back and the Beskar, and then fighting all the bad guys.
Episode 2 ended with the child using the Force. That was a big revelation about the child.
Right.
But I see what you're saying. It's like it's not the pacing isn't very quick. It's not jam packed.
It's not like hard following the storyline of the child.
Yeah,
it's slowly building,
right?
Which is good.
I like that.
And I mean, the fact that we know we're getting a second season, like they can do that.
There's going to be more.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's going to be some shocking revelation at the end of the first season that we'll have to wait for the second season.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think we'll get a full resolution with the child's and the situation regarding the child, at least.
Yeah.
By the end of the first season. Because I mean, like, you know, in these last couple episodes, I think the third episode so far has been the most. My favorite episode, probably, just like him getting the Beskar and learning more about the Mandalorians, and the doctor and the client getting the child and doing whatever they were doing to it. I guess maybe extracting midichlorians.
Yeah.
Somebody else, and they mention a he, so someone else is involved in this whole scheme.
That's kind of what I was saying earlier. Is there's a higher power invested in the wanting the child for some reason.
Right. The client is paying for it.
The client is the protection for the doctor.
Yes.
I think.
And someone else has tasked the doctor with doing whatever it is that he's trying to do with the child. But he cared enough for the child that he didn't want it killed.
Yes. Which he's made that clear on multiple occasions that he cares for the child. Like he balked at the client saying you could kill him for a lower price.
Yeah.
He was trying to get the Mandalorian to be really careful with him.
Yeah, it doesn't.
when he showed up to reclaim him.
So I mean, it's we
He's
don't
worried
have
about him.
very many answers to anything yet. It's all been really good.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting story, and
Yeah, that scanner device that the doctor had him in episode 4.
The-
Was it 4 or 3? It was
three.
Three.
Yeah.
Yeah, the child was asleep. There was an interrogator droid in there, which I thought was interesting. The
Yeah.
probe droid thing.
An Imperial medical droid or whatever.
There was an interrogation droid, the same
Yeah.
thing that they used on Leia in A New Hope.
Yeah.
That was in there, and then the little scanner device. You couldn't really tell what it was doing, but it was scanning his torso.
Yeah. It doesn't.
It didn't look like anything was like in him, you know.
No.
like
And he
actively
being,
scanned
him with that red thing too at the beginning.
Like actively being tracked, or actively being extracted from him.
Right.
I'm trying to
And
say.
when they first got the child, he scanned him with that red thing, and he was like,
Good,
oh yes, good.
This appears to be a Yoda.
How many toes does it have?
We will never show.
What is his toe configuration?
That's what's being shouted at the show.
We still haven't seen his toes, right?
I have not been looking for it, so
I honestly haven't. I should have been, because I'm really concerned about the toe configuration.
What is the toe configuration?
I need to go back and watch all the episodes now, and then I'm gonna have to tweet it at Favreau and ask him what is a toe configuration of a Yoda creature.
Please answer this question.
This Wikipedia page needs an update with hard facts. Please, we need a definite answer.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Have you been reading any more of Resistance Reborn?
Not recently. No, I need to keep reading it.
I got about a third of the way through it, and then a bunch of stuff came up, and I couldn't.
Yeah, that's about how far I got to.
I couldn't get any more through it, but it's good. I like it so far. It's the
wrap up of the books that have been leading up to the Rise of Skywalker.
Right. It's the wrap up of all these other pieces of media besides movies and TV shows. I think, right? I don't know if they've included a whole lot of TV show content.
I guess
like
not.
from the Resistance.
I haven't watched the last few episodes of the Resistance either. Last couple episodes that have aired, I haven't watched any of that either.
Yeah.
But that's not really building too much into this. It's kind of gotten into its own story at this point.
But it's pulling in all of these characters from all kinds of different books.
Yeah.
And some of the comics and stuff too.
It's got aftermath stuff. It's kind of all over the place.
It's got Alphabet Squadron stuff. It's got Shattered Empire stuff in there. It's got would have been some of the Bloodline stuff.
Yeah.
In there. I'm trying to think of some of the other books that are in there. It's pulling together all of these different characters and stuff as the Resistance goes out and tries to find leadership.
Right.
New leadership, which is really smart on Leia's part, not just, I think it says it at some point, but Leia doesn't want just people joining the Resistance. She wants leaders because she wants a future for the Resistance.
Yeah. Yeah. They need leaders and people, that understand, I guess.
Right.
You don't just need fighters and people that in numbers to fight the First Order.
You need someone who can strategize a future.
Right.
Yeah. Which was really smart. But it's good. I really like it so far.
It's been a really good read so far.
It's not, if you're expecting like hints about what's going to happen in Rise of Skywalker, I wouldn't go to this book for that.
I think it just cleans up and wraps up stuff that has been in the books in advance of Rise of Skywalker. And it at least kind of sets the stage, I think, for where the Resistance is going into the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, for sure. The Rise of Skywalker will pick up in some fashion from the stuff that's in this book, but this is more about pulling together all of this, this different pieces of the universe that have kind of been put out there in all the books and comics so far.
Yeah.
At least for this time period.
Yeah,
it's good. And there are other things coming out that I can't remember right now.
Yeah. I mean, there was recently a photo of the first book of the new Thrawn trilogy.
Oh yeah, the
And title
artwork for
that.
it. That
Yeah.
that looks pretty cool. Him standing alone with a shadow coming
It
off of him.
had a title. The first of the Ascendancy.
It was the treason trilogy. No, not treason. The Ascendancy trilogy.
Yeah.
Right.
I cannot remember what it was called though.
I don't remember.
Oh well.
There's no way to find out.
Oh, Chaos Rising. That's what it was. That's cool. Other than that, our next episode we will have seen Rise of Skywalker.
Oh boy. I think we're gonna try to record a little immediate reaction.
Probably.
And try to put it out the day of.
We do.
Yeah. And then we'll do a larger episode as soon as we can.
Or two.
Yeah, we did a 2-parter or a 3-parter or something for
probably like focused on different aspects of the film.
Yeah.
And talked about it. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of that to digest after having seen it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, we had a pretty good, I think we had pretty strong theories and pretty strong idea of what was going to happen in The Last Jedi, and I think we were successful with most of our thoughts on what was going to happen in The Last Jedi.
Generally,
I have 5% going into this movie of what I think will happen. Like I don't know.
Well, okay, what were some of the big things that we theorized for Last Jedi? We theorized that did we expect Luke to die? I don't think we did we?
I don't think we did.
We didn't call that.
No. I mean, there were some big points I think that we were fairly spot on, but I don't have any.
Snoke dying too was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. I've got nothing going into this one.
I'm just trying to think of what we were so sure of in Last Jedi was going to happen that ended up happening. I know there were a couple things that
I cannot remember them at all off the top of my head, and I've never listened to our show, so I can't tell you.
And you never will.
Oh, no, why would I? Going into this one, I raised in it. I guess the question of her parentage.
I can confidently say that Ben is going to be redeemed.
I think so. I
think I can confidently say that Leia's going to die.
You think so?
Yeah.
Probably.
I think I could also confidently say that Lando and Chewie are going to die.
There is a title of one of the tracks from John Williams called "The Last Ride of the Falcon" or "The Falcon's Last Ride," something like that.
Yeah. Those are my three predictions.
I don't care who dies in the movie. If Chewbacca dies,
that's gonna hurt.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's gonna hurt.
Kill literally any other character.
Yeah.
I mean, Leia. It would be hard for Leia as a character to exist after this because Carrie's gone.
Yes.
And Peter Mayhew's gone, but Jonas has been so good at playing Chewie.
Yeah.
That it would be very difficult to just have like every original person or character be gone and it just be fully left with these new people. Depending on how many of them are actually left. Who knows if Finn and Poe are going to live. Which I think they would. Maybe. Just Rey's left. It just ends with Rey.
Jeez, everyone dies.
Everyone's dead. I mean, who knows with 3PO and R2-D2, right? If Chewie dies, that will be.
I think if anything happens to R2, I'm going to lose it.
R2 and Chewie are about the two that I would lose it. Like, I can understand if Leia dies. Like
3PO dying or being destroyed would be
because
very
Carrie
sad.
has passed. If Leia dies, I understand.
Yeah.
If Chewie or R2 are gone, that's hard to accept.
Yeah, it is.
But it's very possible that Lando and Chewie die. I think they might.
Those are my 3 predictions. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Lando and Chewie die.
I think the most accurate, or the one that's most likely to happen is going to be Ben be redeemed.
I believe we will get a definitive answer to Rey's parentage. I think it will be addressed. Doesn't mean they have to be anybody.
Will be a dress?
It will be addressed.
Her parents are going to be a dress?
Yes. Her parents will be in dresses. They'll be in cages surrounding Palpatine.
Cages.
No, I think her parentage will be finalized.
Cages. Like flying monkeys.
Yes.
They're going to be like surgically altered. Like spider
No,
legs.
I think the question of her parentage has to be answered.
It's like a Silent Hill game or something.
Yeah, pretty much. The question of her parentage, I think JJ has to address it and finalize.
Hasn't somebody said? Hasn't Daisy Ridley said that it is answered in this movie?
I think
or
so.
Somebody.
I think.
I can't remember.
But
now.
I think I think there will be a definite answer to whether her parent, what is the deal with her parents, because I think people care too much about that.
Yeah. I just,
you can go 100 different ways with her parentage too.
In my mind, that question's already answered. So I don't know if there is a confirmed answer. Okay, whatever.
If it's answered in a way that
the
is
fact
not
that
what you expected, though. What if her parentage is Palpatine's doing? I mean, what if her existence is Palpatine's doing? Right? Like that's a whole question in theory.
Okay, her parents can still be nobodies, and that could also be true.
Yeah,
you know. I'm just saying, as long as her parents aren't Skywalkers, or as long as her mom isn't Obi-Wan, you know.
Obi-Wan.
As long as she isn't her own mom. It's
What if Palpatine's her mom? He made Vader.
That's true.
He forced a baby in Shmi.
Shmi.
Forcing a baby into someone sounds bad, but he used the Force to.
He forced a baby.
Probably shouldn't use the Force as a verb there.
Do you force?
Hey, baby, I'm gonna force a baby in you.
Well, I mean, either way, it's bad.
Done.
Oh,
I'm full of baby. 1, don't force babies into people, and 2, don't be full of babies. Neither one of those things sounds good.
Don't be full of babies. Is that the episode title?
I still like Ewok NASA better. I wish I could actually create art, because I want a shirt that has a depiction of Ewok NASA.
Yeah.
With the logs and the wood computers with levers.
Right.
This is what I want. I want a mod for Kerbal Space Program that's Ewok NASA, where everything's just made of wood.
Oh. And they're I just like the idea of them sitting on top of the log with it's not carved in any way. It's just a perfectly round log, and they're just straddling it.
It's just a log.
And it's going to be Sputter at a tree and shot into the air.
Yeah. Why not?
Hey, how else are you going to do it?
If they can crush AT-STs with logs, they can send one into space.
Oh. Speaking of AT-STs, though, real quick, the AT-ST in the 4th episode of Mandalorian, that was really cool.
That was really cool. There were some really sweet shots of that thing. It's just,
making it like really menacing.
Yeah. And not having a driver.
There was a driver.
But like not showing.
Oh, it was kind of a monster. It was
right.
portrayed as a monster.
Yeah, it was almost
the red eyes,
almost
and
like it was sentient,
right?
And, a creature in and of itself, and not showing the fact that there's a driver or anything in it. That was
I thought that was
really
cool, mainly because we've always seen AT-STs in contrast with AT-ATs. So they've always seemed a little less
doofier.
Yeah, just not as powerful.
Yeah,
but I mean, Rogue One had a bit of that too. Like AT-STs being powerful, but
right.
Were AT-STs in Rogue One?
I think so.
Actually, now that I think about it, on Scarif, were they?
I can't remember now.
But anyway, they that was cool. That episode.
It was really cool.
Anyway,
well, the next time you hear from us, we will have seen the Rise of Skywalker, and hopefully you will have as well.
We'll have wet pants.
All of my pants will be wet.
That's how powerful this movie's going to be.
That's my guarantee to you.
So is that you saying you're going to bring all of your pants and you'll have wet all of them? Okay, they'll just be
It'll happen.
Yeah.
over the
spontaneously
over the course of the next 20
wettened.
over the course of the next like 48 hours after having seen the film.
Oh, okay.
When the fluids haven't stopped running yet. I'll just keep swapping pants and nothing's helping.
I'm swapping pants and nothing's helping.
Doctor.
I've been swapping pants and nothing's helping.
Oh man. Well, if you want to get in touch with us, you can hit us up on Twitter at Hokey Podcast.
Well, you almost said it. You almost said
the old one. You can hit us up at Hokey Podcast on Twitter. You can also reach us via email at asklobot@hokeyreligion.com. Let's hope that Lobot is in this movie. I keep hoping there's going to be a Lobot.
Yes. Oh, yes, please.
And there's a Lobot, I'm just going to scream. Like a little girl. I will scream and everyone will shush me, but I will scream for Lobot. Yeah, so at asklobot at
Scream for
hokeyreligion.com.
Lobot 2020.
Hashtag scream for Lobot. I'm going to put that hashtag in when I post this episode.
Okay.
You can also find us on Facebook and YouTube and any other place that you wish to hear sounds. If you really enjoy the show, you can go to patreon.com/hokeyreligion and gift us with monetary increments from $1 and up. Just, one-time gift if you want. Anything
Money
helps the
and
show.
up.
You can give us money and more.
Yep.
Anywhere from some to lots of money.
Starting with some.
At least something, right? It helps support the show, because this is not free to provide to
It's
you,
not free.
but we enjoy doing it. Otherwise, I've got nothing else. I've got a lot of
Feelings.
I've got a lot of worry.
We got a lot of wet pants. A lot
Not
of pants
yet.
to be wet.
I'm keeping them dry for now. Preparing them for wet.
Soon it will be your turn. Every night.
Every night I whisper to my pants, soon. It's coming.
Your time is coming. Be still, my friend.
Well,
That's
enjoy
it.
the Rise of Skywalker. I hope it's good.
I hope it's good. No, you can't say that at the end of the episode. All right.
Who's to say it's not
This
a
has been Hokey Religion.
steaming pile of shit?
I hope Rise of Skywalker is good. All right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hokey religion is an ancient weapon. Hokey religion is an ancient weapon, so no match for a good blaster at your side.